Have you ever felt like something was whispering behind your thoughts? Something invisible, but familiar. A voice inside your own mind. That doesn't sound like you. Let me ask you something real. How many of your choices today were actually yours? How many of your emotions were implanted, cut to glitch effect, brain scan imagery, demonic data stream overlay? What if I told you that there's an implant in your mind right now, placed there not by man, but by darkness itself, a seed of control, designed to replace God's voice with counterfeit thoughts? It uses your fears. It hides behind anxiety. It sounds like doubt, but it speaks with authority, because you let it in. This is not sci-fi. This is not conspiracy. This is spiritual warfare. And while you're trying to stay positive, something ancient is rewriting your decisions, using your past, your pain, your silence, against you. Pause. Visual of man praying in dark room. Voiceover softens. But here's the truth. The enemy never comes through the front door. He sneaks in through open windows, through emotional breaches, through lack of prayer, through forgotten faith. Every time you ignored God's whisper, every time you chose noise over silence, a seed was planted, and that seed is now growing inside your mind. You thought it was just stress, just mood swings, just mental health, but it was a system, a code, a silent command line, designed to reroute your spirit away from God and straight into confusion, fatigue, distraction, and eventually, destruction. Screen flashes, implanted, glitch out, heartbeat intensifies. Today, and only today, you're going to see what's been hidden from you your entire life. You're going to learn how this implant was built, why it works so effectively, and how to finally take it out. Because if you don't, it will grow, and it won't just control your decisions, it will control your destiny. But there's hope. God never left you. He's still speaking. He's still calling your name. You just forgot how to hear him. And that's not your fault, because the system made sure you forgot. Visual slow. Glowing Bible opens. Light pierces the screen. What's coming next isn't just information. It's revelation. It's deliverance. It's the beginning of a war inside your mind. But now you'll fight with truth. And truth is the one thing the enemy can't survive. So I need you here, right now. Focus. Turn off the distractions. Look me in the eye. You're not watching a video. You're stepping into a battle for your soul. Before we go any deeper, I want to ask you something important. If there's even a part of you that believes this world isn't what it seems, that your thoughts, your life, are part of something far bigger, then let this moment count. Tap that like button. Not for me, but so the algorithm, the machine, knows that this message matters. Pause. Voice softens with conviction. When you like, when you comment, you're not just helping this video. You're helping the message of awakening spread. You're sending a signal that you're no longer asleep, that you're ready. And if you feel this message burning in your spirit, then subscribe, because what we're building here is not just a channel. It's a movement, a light in the shadows. You don't have to comment a whole paragraph. Just write, "I'm awake," or "I felt this too," because when someone else reads it, they'll know they're not alone. This is how we break the silence. This is how we fight back. There was a boy, quiet. He wasn't special. At least that's what they made him believe. But inside, something always felt off. He would wake up in the middle of the night with this strange pressure in his chest. Not fear exactly, more like a presence, like someone else was there, watching, waiting. As a child, he would hear his name being whispered, but when he turned around, there was no one. He felt like he was being scanned, marked. They called it imagination, but it wasn't. That boy grew up, and every year that passed, the whispers grew quieter, not because they stopped, but because they got smarter. The voice inside his head began to sound like his own, and that's when they truly got in. His decisions started to shift. At first it was subtle, walking into rooms and forgetting why, feeling angry for no reason, avoiding people who loved him, losing control in moments that once felt safe. It was almost like his soul was being rerouted, hijacked. This wasn't just depression. It wasn't just mental health. It was an invisible invasion, a spiritual hijacking, a kind of mind control so delicate, so deep, that no doctor, no therapist, no pastor could see it, because it wasn't operating in the visible realm. He wasn't the only one. They call us the chosen, not because we're better, but because we're targeted. Because there's something inside of us that, if awakened, would shatter their entire system. And so they implanted code. Yes, code. Not digital. Spiritual. A hidden programming that slowly rewrites your instincts, twists your identity, makes you doubt everything God whispered into your heart before you were born. It enters through your trauma. It grows through distraction. And it feeds on silence. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you if he can distract you. He doesn't need to bind you if he can reprogram you. That boy, he began to question his reality. His dreams changed. He saw symbols in his sleep, glitches in his day, patterns in people's words. He wasn't crazy. He was awakened. And that's when they came harder. Sleepless nights, shadowy figures, endless doubt, guilt without cause. He began to fight back. But every time he gained clarity, they shifted the code. That's the game. That's the war. And you might be in it right now without even knowing. If what I'm saying echoes inside your chest, if something in your spirit is vibrating with truth right now, then comment below, yes, that's it. Just that. Because I want to know how many of us feel the same. But how did they actually get in? How did they plant this spiritual virus without you ever noticing? The answer defies logic. And what I'm about to reveal next will shake your perception of everything you thought was real. What if I told you that most of the thoughts running through your head today aren't yours? Not entirely. You think you're the one deciding what to fear, who to love, when to speak, what to chase. But beneath it all, there's a script, a carefully coded program. Implanted, invisible, relentless. Let's break it down. First, implanted thoughts. Have you ever had an idea that appeared out of nowhere but felt like truth? Something that made you question everything you were certain of yesterday? That's not intuition. That's infiltration. Spiritual malware. A kind of mental parasite that mimics your inner voice until you can't tell what's you and what's them. They enter through repetition, news, music, childhood trauma, and once inside, they speak like God, but push like the devil. Next, strategic emotional blocks. You feel stuck, afraid to act, guilty when you rest, ashamed when you shine. But you weren't born with those emotions. They were assigned to you. Like viruses inside your emotional code, they trigger whenever you get too close to something sacred, to something meant for you. Every time you reach for purpose, you feel unworthy. Every time you want to love, you sabotage. Every time you step into light, you feel like an imposter. That's not you. That's programming. Glitch sound. Visual, tangled wires inside a brain-like structure. Then there's the sensory triggers. They hide them in smells, tones of voice, facial expressions. Even a certain song from your past can open a spiritual wound and flood your body with pain before your conscious mind even knows why. It's like your nervous system has been mapped, weaponized. They installed buttons inside you, and now they just press play. But the most terrifying mechanism? Spiritual synchronization. This is where they fine-tune your energy to match frequencies of distraction, addiction, and confusion. You walk into a room and feel drained, not because the people are toxic, but because your energy is attuned to chaos. They've aligned you with the noise, so God's whisper sounds distant, too faint to follow. You start to crave what hurts you, resist what heals you, and chase what empties you, because the frequency inside you no longer matches the one above. Long pause, audio drops to silence, heartbeat begins again. You're not broken, you're programmed. And now you're waking up. You now know what they're using. But what shocked me most was how they keep this alive in you, year after year. Because there's one final mechanism that almost no one talks about. One that has the power to hijack every spiritual upgrade you try to make. And I'm going to expose it. But first, if what you've heard so far has shaken something inside you, if you feel like I'm speaking truths you've never been able to say out loud, then comment the word, show me, or mustro, right now. I want to know how many of us are finally ready to break the code, because what comes next is the part they've hidden the hardest. So now you see it, the patterns, the invasion, the code. But awareness is not enough. You can't just know you've been controlled. You have to fight back, and the war begins inside. The first key is conscious recognition. You must snap out of the autopilot, the mental sleepwalk. You must stop letting thoughts enter your mind unchallenged, especially the ones that sound like guilt, like fear, like, I'm not good enough. Those are not yours. They were planted. And your first act of rebellion is seeing them for what they are. Lies. Once you see the virus, you can start removing it. That leads to the second principle, active deprogramming. This isn't passive. You won't heal by hoping. You won't be delivered by scrolling motivational quotes. You need weapons. Start with prayer, but not soft, empty prayers. I'm talking about spiritual confrontation, prayers that call things out by name, prayers that cut like fire. Then fasting, not just food. Fast from distraction. Fast from the voices that feed your code. Silence the noise so you can hear God's whisper again. Add mental rewiring. Affirmations grounded in divine truth. I am not my trauma. I carry divine authority. I reject the code they gave me. It may feel fake at first, because the old programming will resist, but that's how you know it's working. Third, power reimplantation. The enemy removed your original identity and replaced it with shame, doubt, silence. Now we take it back, not by becoming who we were, but by becoming who we were meant to be. You are not random. You were forged, formed in a dimension of intention. God placed a fire in you that hell has tried to bury for decades. Now we reignite it. Write down your mission. Speak it daily. Move with the authority of someone who knows they've been chosen by design, not by accident. Because when I did this, everything changed. Before, I was a prisoner, performing for approval, living under the weight of a voice that wasn't mine. But now, I fight back. I speak, and I've become the weapon that the enemy tried to erase. But we're not done. There's one final key that completes this transformation. The one thing they never wanted you to find. It's not a method, not a prayer, not a book. It's a code, a spiritual law that flips the entire system on its head. And I'll share it with you, but only if you're truly ready. So if you want this final key, comment key right now, because I need to know who's walking with me to the end. Who's serious about breaking the system? Who's ready to finish this? There's something they never told you. Not your teachers, not your parents, not your pastors, not the spiritual gurus or the best-selling authors. They never told you that you already hold the key, that the control system, this dark, invasive, generational program, was never complete, because deep inside your spirit, God buried a code that cannot be rewritten by any enemy. It was hidden for your protection, locked behind layers of pain, distraction, trauma, but it's there, and once it activates, they can't touch you. I remember the night mine turned on. I was alone, no lights, no music, just silence and prayer. I wasn't even asking for answers. I was just tired of pretending, tired of performing for a world that didn't see me. And then, it hit, not like a voice, not like thunder. It was a stillness, heavy, pure, alive. I saw the faces, the ones that used to whisper to me in dreams. I saw them leave. I felt their grip dissolve, and for the first time in my life I heard my real voice, and it wasn't afraid. It wasn't small. It was full and free. I cried, not out of fear, not out of sadness, but out of recognition, because I was finally meeting who I was before the world rewrote me. This moment, this breakthrough, isn't reserved for the special ones. It's not for the perfect or the religious or the pure. It's for you, the one watching this right now with tears behind your eyes, the one who always felt out of place, the one who tried everything and still felt stuck, the one who prayed but stopped believing it worked. This was always inside you, and now you're remembering. You are not a prisoner. You are not the code. You are not the chains. You are the key, and that key is divine sovereignty. It's authority rooted in truth, not fear. It's the ability to rewrite every lie they ever fed you, to rise above the noise, to reclaim the script they stole. And now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to sleep, because what was hidden has now awakened. But there's one more thing you need to know. One truth they buried so deep, they built entire systems to keep it quiet. In the next video, I'm going to reveal why you were ignored your entire life, why doors closed, why people walked away, why you were silenced, overlooked, rejected. And it's not because you were weak. It's not because you weren't good enough. It's because your awakening was dangerous to them, to the system, to the illusion. And if you still feel like there's a force trying to silence your spirit, a deeper block that won't break, you can't miss what's coming. Now, if this message cracked something open in you, if you felt a part of yourself returning, leave a comment right now. Just write, I am the key, or I took the key back, because I want to see who's walking through this gate with power, who's not just listening, but stepping in. Write it in the comments. Let them know we're not afraid anymore. We're not broken. We're becoming. Now, before you leave, if you feel like something was taken from you long ago, your voice, your purpose, your light, like this video right now, that one click tells the algorithm, this message matters, and more people need to hear it. Subscribe and turn on the bell, because once you awaken, you can't go back. And this channel? It's more than content. It's a lighthouse for the awakened, for the chosen, for those ready to reclaim what was stolen. And if this video stirred something in your soul, if you cried, if you felt seen, if you felt something shifting deep inside, comment now, I woke up. Or if you feel bolder, I am awake and I'm taking it back. Write it, not for me, but so someone else can see your comment and realize they're not alone. Share this with someone who seems lost, someone who's not themselves lately, someone who's stuck inside a silence that isn't even theirs. You never know. You might be the spark that shatters their prison. And just ahead, waiting for you in the next video, is the one truth they feared you'd discover. It's the reason you were ignored, pushed aside, labeled as too intense, too sensitive, too much, because your awakening was dangerous to their control. That next video reveals why you were hidden and what happens when you're finally seen. Click on it now. It's already calling your name.